Welcome to the video. Today we'll be flying 8 hours from Toronto, Canada to Lima, Peru on Air Canada's signature class Boeing 787-8. But before the flight, we'll be making a pit stop at the Air Canada signature suite in the international terminal where we'll get to have an a la carte dining experience before boarding. So let's pick this back up at the airport.
At Toronto Pearson International Airport, passengers boarding international flights should check in at Terminal 1 and head over to the E-gates after passing through security, which is connected by a fairly long corridor. So if you're carrying lots of luggage like I am, you may want to make use of the conveyor belts. At the end, you'll find the standard Maple Leaf Lounge, which is available to passengers with Aeroplan status of 50K or higher, premium credit card holders, or if you have a guest pass. But for most passengers in business class, you'll also have access to the Signature Suite, which is a far more exclusive lounge that features a more premium experience before boarding. Since there's only 2.5 hours before boarding at this time, I decided to skip the tour of the Maple Leaf Lounge and head straight there. Heading down the escalators, you'll be greeted at the bottom with a modern art installation, which is nestled between the shop's concourse and the duty-free store. Again, we'll skip the terminal tour this time as I really wanted to maximize your time in the Signature Suite and showing you guys everything it has to offer. The Signature Suite is located across from gate E77. Turn down the corridor and head up the stairs, or if you're lazy like me, you can take the elevators. Coming out of the elevators, to the left you'll find the Plaza Premium Lounge, which I've heard is quite nice, but we'll have to cover that another day. Stepping into the Signature Suite, my first impressions was that it was very elegant and refined.
Hello.
How are you?
The first time.
Welcome. What time is your boarding?
10:05.
10:05? Okay. So you do have two dining options. We have the fine dining a la carte, which takes about an hour from start to finish. And then we also have a self-serve buffet on the left.
Naturally, I chose the a la carte option and am seated in the lounge. My table is in the corner, which works out quite nicely as I'm filming. The lounge is really nice and has a comfortable atmosphere. It's decorated with an ornamental structure that reminds me of flower petals, and a mural of a Canadian winter landscape that feels serene and tranquil. I ordered my first round of dishes, and while we wait, let's tour the buffet, which starts with a cold section featuring olives, hummus, pickles, and a selection of cold meats and cheeses, which you can customize to build your own charcuterie board. There's also some tuna crostinis with pickled onions and capers, and a couple salad options. Next, there are some apple pecan crumbles and fried chicken sliders, which seem to be a big hit with tonight's crowd. The hot food section featured rice with what looked like black bean beef and steamed vegetables. Rounding out the buffet are a couple soup options and chocolate marshmallow squares for dessert. In addition to the lounge and bar area, the Signature Suite has a seating section which features a series of captain's chairs and couches with soft lighting for reading or light work. Connected to the seating section and accessible from the lounge, there's also a restaurant dining area for groups preferring a quieter experience. There's also a screen monitoring all Air Canada flights because the Signature Suite doesn't announce boarding notices. And for larger groups, or those looking for more privacy, the Signature Suite also features a private room that can accommodate 6 to 8 guests. Turning the corner from the dining room is the hallway to the restrooms, which has 6 private stalls with full-length door enclosures. Each stall is very spacious and is made to feel that way with its 10-foot ceilings and large mirrors. Each stall is also equipped with premium furnishings like cotton hand towels, Toto toilets, and hand soap and lotion from Molten Brown. Heading back to the table, I couldn't help but notice that in the center of the mural there's a small tree with red maple leaves, which looks really striking contrasted against the earthy color palette. The a la carte menu features 4 appetizers, 4 mains, and 3 desserts. I only had enough time and space in my stomach to try 3 of each, basically everything except the vegetarian options. The wine menu offers 2 champagnes and a selection of white wines from France, Austria, and Canada, and red wines predominantly from Italy. The cocktail menu starts off with Air Canada's signature cocktail and spans the full range of liqueurs. So there's something for everyone, but if none are to your liking, the bartenders are excellent and can make you something off menu, as I would find out later on. Rounding out the beverage menu is a selection of Canadian and popular commercial beers, as well as an assortment of juices, soft drinks, hot drinks, coffees, and teas. To start off the dinner service, I ordered a glass of the Laurent Perrier Cuvée Rosé, which came in a chilled champagne flute. The bubbles were super fresh. You can see them dancing in the glass as the hostess pours the wine. And the flavor was great. Fruit-forward, bright, and very refreshing. Perfect for celebrating the start of a trip. A bottle of this rosé retails for $120 to $150 at liquor stores in Canada, and was a great way to whet the appetite. Cheers! For appetizers, I ordered the ginger squash soup and the duck confit salad, and both were absolutely delicious. The soup had a creamy blend of butternut squash and coconut milk, topped with pumpkin seeds, dollops of olive oil, and a crispy sage leaf. Just absolutely delightful. I started off with the soup, intending on trying a spoon or two before moving on to the salad, but I couldn't help myself and kept going. I could have easily polished it off in one go, but after 5 or 6 spoonfuls, I needed to move on to the salad. The duck confit salad was also incredible. It came dressed in a Thai vinaigrette, papaya mango slaw, and some Thai chilies. A really delicate balance of sweet, tangy, and spicy. Very, very tasty. Both appetizers were so good. Would definitely recommend. After the appetizers, I ordered a glass of the Italian Sangiovese in preparation for the main courses. I ordered the beef tenderloin and the cacio e pepe pasta. The tenderloin was great, cooked to medium rare, and came with crispy fingerling potatoes and grilled rapini. 10 out of 10, on par with any fine dining restaurant. The pasta, however, was lacking in more ways than one. It was a bit too much on the al dente side, and the Romano cheese didn't shine through. Overall, it lacked flavor and was too bland for my liking. Some people might like it, but I'll be skipping it next time. Checking the time after my mains, I still had an hour before boarding, so I ordered the crudo appetizer and the island cod to continue the tasting menu. The crudo came with an orange and amarillo dressing and was very light and buttery. The cod was equally delicious and came with crispy lotus roots and a green tea, dashi, and yuzu broth. And finally, it's time for dessert. I ordered the entire dessert menu, starting with the old-fashioned sorbet, which was made with bourbon and orange bitters, as well as the espresso chocolate cake, which then inspired me to order an espresso to help with digestion. And what's better pairing for espresso than a scoop of vanilla ice cream? The chocolate cake was probably my favorite. It was rich and creamy, just really, really decadent. What a fantastic meal. With about 20 minutes left before boarding, I decided to make a quick pit stop to the bar for a nightcap. The bar is very well stocked with champagne and top-shelf liqueur across the cabinet, including Don Julio 1942 for any tequila fans. Riding the high from the chocolate cake and espresso, and needing to stay up a little bit longer to film the in-cabin experience, I decided to go with an espresso martini. The bartender then suggested a twist by adding hazelnut liqueur and a chocolate glaze to the concoction, which was a very nice touch. Finally, after 2.5 hours in the signature suite, I descended back into the terminal to board my flight, but ran into one slight problem. I couldn't find my wallet.
I am literally the last passenger to board this plane because I lost my wallet somewhere in Toronto Pearson International Airport, and I don't know where. So I am boarding a flight to an international destination without a wallet. Wish me luck. Hello.
Yes, welcome aboard. Welcome back.
4A?
405, yes. Down this aisle.
Since I had delayed boarding until the last possible moment searching for my wallet, I made my way to my seat in 4A as quickly as possible. The Airbus A330 features 32 business class seats in a 1-2-1 configuration. Each seat comes with a mattress pad, pillow, and duvet, as well as an amenity kit and bottle of water. There's no door enclosure, but the angle of each seat provides for enough privacy while allowing the crew sufficient visibility to service passengers. Since this flight was an overnight flight, the cabin was dimmed to facilitate melatonin release as soon as all passengers were seated. As the plane reached cruising altitude, the crew began their in-flight service, starting with champagne and warm nuts. We'll do a more comprehensive seat tour later on, but for now, adjusting the seat into lie flat mode, you can see that there's ample space and legroom. I stowed my bedding in the footwell, and with the seat fully flat, my feet are just barely touching the duvet. I'm 5'3", but the footwell offers another 1.5 feet of legroom for taller passengers. The menu on this flight service consisted of a cured salmon appetizer, a main course, cheese and crackers, and a brown sugar tart for dessert. This flight had the option of pre-ordering your meal, so I pre-ordered the sea bass. But since I had already been eating for 2 hours before boarding, I asked the crew if I could have the sea bass alongside breakfast prior to arrival. The beverage list consisted of the standard assortment of juices, soft drinks, and hot beverages, as well as an international cross-section of wines. I'm not sure how they prepare it, but the salmon is remarkably consistent to other times I've had it, and as usual, is buttery, tasty, and consumed quickly, even on a full stomach. After finishing the appetizer and before getting ready for bed, let's do a quick seat tour. The window seats are angled from the aisle towards the window, providing for ample space and legroom. Underneath the footwell, there's a light to illuminate the cubby, which is where I've stowed my shoes. Just on top of the footwell is where I've stowed my bedding until it's time for use. To the left of the seat and below the armrest is the magazine rack with the safety card and sick bag, and is also where I put the menu. Also on the window side, just above the armrest, is the center console, which has a decent amount of storage space. I keep my passport, boarding passes, electronics, and loose items like my watch, bracelets, eye mask, and earplugs here for quick access during the flight. The console also houses the IFE remote control for the TV screen, as well as a universal charging port, which I'm currently using to charge my spare battery from my camera. On the left side inside the console, there's also a single USB-A port and the headphone jack for the noise-canceling headphones. When closing the console lid, there's a small gap to allow the cables to move freely and avoid getting pinched. To the right of the seat, there's an armrest that can be adjusted by squeezing on a button near the tip and pressing down, or removing the pressure to raise back up. Just below the right armrest, there's a small cubby hole for extra storage, which is where I've parked my pajamas for the flight. And lastly, to the far left, over my left shoulder, there's some additional surface area for pillows, bags, and purses. But this area is not secured, so objects may move around during the flight. Now let's take a look at the Amenity kit, which is from Acqua di Parma, an Italian fragrance and skincare company owned by LVMH. The bag is made from a soft but robust leather and has a co-branded Air Canada tag on the inside. The contents of the kit contains a hand cream, earplugs, an eye mask, a small microfiber cloth, and a pair of socks. There's also a dental kit, which includes a toothbrush, toothpaste, dental floss, and mouthwash. The last thing to do before bed is change into our pajamas. Air Canada doesn't provide pajamas, so it's a bring your own PJs type of situation. While we're here, let's have a quick tour of the lavatories. The size of the lavatory is pretty standard, with some additional hand soap and hand lotion from Vitruvi, and the standard toilet seat and changing table you'd expect in any airplane lavatory. But since there's a dedicated one for the business class cabin, it's generally always available and cleaner than the ones in economy.
So as mentioned before, this flight is an 8-hour flight from Toronto, Canada to Lima, Peru. We just finished the dinner service. I actually split up my main course from the appetizer and the dessert. So I'm going to have the main course with breakfast tomorrow morning. After the signature suite, I was actually quite full, so I didn't want to, eat too much before bed.
But there's about 6.5 to 7 hours left in this flight. The flight lands super early, 5:45 a.m. Lima local time. So I have a full day ahead of me. I'm going to try to get as much rest as I can. I'm going to wake up for the breakfast so I can show you the main course as well as the breakfast service. And yeah, so I'll see you guys in the morning. But in the meantime, I'm going to try to get some shut-eye. I asked the cabin crew to wake me up 1 hour before landing, so it's now about 4:45 local time in Peru. The breakfast consisted of a parsley omelet with chicken sausage, cottage cheese, roasted potatoes, and a red pepper relish. The omelet was definitely the best part of the breakfast, and for me, the key is mixing in a little bit of all the elements, which I thought was very complimentary. There was also some oats with raisins, coconut, and pumpkin seeds, as well as some fresh fruit and a croissant. I also asked for an orange juice to wash down the meal. After picking away at most of the breakfast, the cabin crew brought me the main course I pre-ordered for dinner last night. Honestly, this dish was just okay. The sea bass was a bit overcooked and a bit tougher or not as flaky as I would have hoped. The couscous and asparagus were fine, but weren't overly compelling to save the dish. Overall, it would have been fine, but because I was spoiled with the amazing food at the signature suite, this dish just didn't quite hit the mark by comparison. So all in all, in an 8-hour flight, got about 6 to 6.5 hours of sleep, which is pretty decent. I feel decently refreshed. Definitely had enough rest to take on a full day, which is definitely one of the perks of flying in business class. Rather than having to go straight to your hotel room and sleep for another 8 hours, you kind of get up early and get your day going. So once I land in Lima, probably collect my baggings, drop them off at the hotel, and then take my camera out to the city and start exploring. I'll see you guys in Lima.
Welcome to Jose Chavez International Airport. I'm just going to collect my baggage from the carousel and we'll see you guys at the hotel. Hey guys, welcome to the Fairfield in Lima, Peru. I'm staying at the location in Miraflores. So how did I pay for this trip? Normally these flights retail in the thousands of dollars. The Calgary to Toronto leg normally retails between $1,500 to $3,000, and the leg from Toronto to Lima normally retails from $2,500 to $7,000. I booked all of this as part of a itinerary on Aeroplan. I utilized a 2-day stopover feature in Lima, Peru, en route to my final destination in Santa Marta. And the entire trip cost me 92,500 Aeroplan points. My original itinerary from original destination to end destination, that base fare was 87,500, but I added a stopover in Lima, Peru for an incremental 5,000 Aeroplan points. And that stopover can be anywhere from greater than 1 day and less than 60 days. This feature is only accessible or available in international destinations like Asia, Europe, South America. It just can't be within Canada or the US. So if you're thinking about traveling internationally, think about using the stopover feature where you can add an incremental destination for only 5,000 extra Aeroplan points.